Hello and welcome to this week's Wednesday web chat, another in our series of Crystal Reports Basics. So let's take a look at our topic for today, which is formatting. And so we'll take a look now at a demonstration about how to format a Crystal report. I have a Crystal report here today that I will be sharing with you, and you'll have a chance to see what we can do with this report just to make it look a little better than it might otherwise look. So if I preview this report, we're in the Crystal Reports Designer, of course, and this is the Design tab. If I click on the Preview tab, this is kind of what the report looks like if I go to the top here right now. So it's pretty plain. All I have is a document number, the status, these are invoices, by the way, a posting date, who the salesperson was, and the invoice total. So I can see right away that I don't necessarily want this salesperson number in here, so I might have to do something else to get a name in there instead. So let me take a look at what I could do here first off to fix that problem. If I go to the database tab in the database expert, I have in my I have the OINV table here, which probably only gives me the salesperson's number, and probably what I need out of my tables list, I just happen to know, is a different table, OSLP. So I'm going to add that to my list of tables that's going to be in this report. So now I have the OINV table and the OSLP table, and they're linked based on the SLP code. That way I can get the name out of this table. Right? So first thing I'm going to do, yeah, I can refresh the data, that's fine. Go back to my design tab here. And now, if I go over to the Field Explorer here and I can go into OSLP, I'm going to take this field out, salesperson number, and I'm going to add the salesperson name in here. That would be the first thing that I would want to do. And then I'll probably change the title here. It always tries to title things for you, but typically you're going to want to recreate them with your own expressions. There's another one that needs just a little bit of editing from the looks of things. Here we go. Just invoice total. So again, if I take a look at it, I do have a Bill Levine, a salesperson's name, instead of a number. But everything else is pretty plain, nothing fancy. So if I want to do formatting, and keep in mind, formatting is really, there's a bit of art to it, but it's also, its purpose is to make the report easier to read and easier to consume for the person using the report. So I've also got this grouped by the customer. So these invoices are grouped by the customer and subtotaled at a footer, right? You can see it there in the preview, and over here in the design view, you can see I have a group, and the group header number 1 here is the customer name. You can see the little bubble help there telling you that's the customer vendor name, and I have a subtotal at the group footer and at the grand total also for the report. So I want to start doing some things to make the report easier to read. One of the things you do is add white space. So to kind of space things out a bit, these report sections are divided with these division lines. You can actually move them and add more space to the report, which I often like to do in areas like the page header. And then if I want to make all of these bold at once, I can hold down my control key and click on them one at a time until I get them all selected. Or what I like to do is just kind of draw a box. And I don't really have to surround them totally. I can just touch them and it'll select all of them for me. And then I can make all of them bold at once, maybe increase the size like that. And I can do other things like maybe draw a line underneath all of the titles that are there pretty easily just by grabbing the little pencil control. And then if I highlight that line and right click, I can even format the line. So I could change its color if I wanted to blue. I could change the thickness of the line. I could change, the the way the line is there, so I can make it a dashed line if I want to, right? Or just a single line. I can change the thickness of the line. So you can see that if I even just preview after that, I've changed the report, pretty quickly in terms of what it looks like. So at this point now, I can do some other things. We've made this bold. This is already bold because it does that by default. One of the things I don't have, though, when I get to the footer, right, when I see this, if I'm on the second page, if I go to the preview tab and I go to the second page, I'd see that this is starting Acquaint Systems, but I might not remember what group that is that's above. So I might want to add a title into this group footer area and give some definition about who and what it is. So how would I do that? I could insert a text object, we call it, and I just draw a box. I typically start over at the left-hand side when I'm doing something like this, and you'll notice that I've added space to this area, right? So I can have a little more room to work with. I'm going to double-click inside of the box. You'll see I'm typing invoice total for, I've got a colon, I put in a couple of spaces. I'm going to click out of the box, and over here on the right side, you'll notice that the Field Explorer, which you can always get to from the View menu, by the way, View Field Explorer, and it'll appear. And you can put the Field Explorer wherever you want to on the screen. It's personal choice. Then I can go to my Group Names field right here, right? And I can take that group name for OINV card name, and I'm just going to hold down on the mouse key and drag it inside my text box. You'll see the cursor change right there, and let go. And that's going to concatenate my text that I typed and the name of that group together. And I'll try to align it really good as much as I can. I typically like to right justify it, turn it bold. That's one thing I'll do. And the other thing that I will do is take the header field and the footer, right? I'll use the control key to select these, all of those, and I might make all of them the same color, for instance. Use that same blue that we chose, right? And so now I've got all of those set. Now what will the report look like now? Well, notice now when it gets into the footer, it'll say the invoice total for ADA Technologies, which the header part is on the previous page. So just some basic, things about formatting there that I can do. A report like this typically needs to have a header, a report header, and normally that's inserting something like a logo or something of that nature. So here I made extra space, for instance, in that area just by dragging down the lines, and I can go to insert and insert a picture. And out on my desktop, I happen to have some stuff available that I can choose any graphic, like a Business One logo here. It'll attach it to my cursor, and I can drop it in to the header of the report. I can also give the report a title just by inserting a text box, of course. Right, so I can just type something here like invoice report by customer. I can choose that same blue color, make it bold, and increase the size of the font to kind of fill up the spot that I selected there. One too many. There we go. And now when I preview my report, you can of course see that it's starting to take shape nicely without too much work. A couple other things that we can do though. If you take a look at our date, notice that dates in Business One by default in the Microsoft SQL database, right, that most of us use, always come out with time. But Business One does not timestamp. All times in Business One, other than the change log, are always 12 o'clock midnight. So there's no need to show it since we always know what that is. But in Crystal Reports, when I'm on a date field, if I want to change the formatting of any field, I can right-click on the field. Notice I'm not in the titles area here, right, the page header. I'm right in the details row. So in the details row, I right-click and format field, right, then all of the things in the date and time tab are available to me to choose from, and typically that's the date format that I might choose. So then if I go back and preview my report, now my dates are, all like that. Other things that I might want to do is I might want to put these in date order. I could do that. They sort of are already because by default, it's in document order. But if I wanted to make sure that they were in date order, how would I do that? I could go up to Report menu, okay, and then I could go to the Record Sort Expert, and I could choose to notice that the card name is already there because it's a group, and hierarchically it overrides a sort. So, but within that, now I want to take the document date, move that over, and make that ascending as well, right? If I wanted to make it descending, and I can show you how this will override the document number for sure if I make it descending, right? And so we'll have the most recent invoice first. So there we are. You can see the most recent invoice for ADA Technologies is in 2012, and now they're descending, right? Going all the way to the bottom there. So we've changed the sort order of the report. That might make it easier. Other kind of nice things that I might be able to do, I can highlight invoices that might meet some criteria that I want. So let's say if how would I highlight an invoice total red if it was $10,000 or greater? So one easy way that Crystal Reports is giving you to do that, since we're talking about basics, is with the highlighting expert. So I can click on in the details row of my document total and then right click, and notice here I have the highlighting expert. So in my highlighting expert, I have some choices. So first I need to click New, and it'll already know the field, this field that I'm working with, right? And I'm going to say here in these conditions is greater than or equal to, and here we'll type 10,000. And the font style can be the default, but I want the color to be red. There we go. Maybe we'll make it bold red. There we go. And notice that it shows me a little preview of what it's going to look like. And I can say down here, okay. So now if I preview the report now, and we did everything correctly, any invoice that's greater than $10,000 will be red. There we go. So you can see that it's pretty easy to draw attention to things like that. Now, other things I should point out to you are like there are some special fields available in the report. So over in the Field Explorer, things like the page number possibly should be on my report, but it's kind of hard to tell where the section is in preview, so I always like to go over to the design view to do these sorts of things. And here's in the page footer is where I really want to put that. So I'm going to slide the page number over right there in that section of the report, and typically do a little formatting on that also, right? And so now when I preview my report, I'll see that I have 9 pages, and this is the first page in my report. If I go all the way to the back, I'm on the 9th page of my report. Notice here's my grand total. Doesn't really say grand total just yet, so we probably want to fix that too. I like to give that a little more space down here and insert some text again, insert a text box. Just kind of put it up here. And I'm going to fit it a little better, slide it back over here now. Put it in the right box. There we go. And see if that will make it look better. If I go all the way to the back of the report, and there we are, grand total of all the invoices. That looks pretty good. So those are some basic ways to format data in a report and to make it look a little better so that when people actually go to use the report, And when they look at it in Business One, it's laid out nicely and easy to understand. If you wonder what it might look like in Business One, we'll see if we can preview it actually in the something going on with the add-in today. This is a brand new patch for me, by the way, but we are able to preview it here in Crystal, which is great, and so we can get a good idea of how things are. So and we can always, page through our report and just check it out, as you can see. So that was a simple little lesson today on just some basic formatting techniques for Crystal Reports Designer. Hopefully it was helpful, and you'll be able to use these little tricks yourself in the very near future. Thanks for joining me today on Wednesday Web Chat. We'll see you again next week.